That's all good.
it's recording, and then so I can put it on YouTube because I like to like just record it and then get a bunch of clips, put it on TikTok. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I've seen your method. I've seen how you cut it up, and then also I watched that stream you did. I watched the stream you did when you were talking about what happened, and then I watched the actual Steven Crowder video
Yeah,
with your family in it. Yeah, I thought that was so cool, dude. That was so cool.
that was so random. Oh, there's already one person.
It
There's
was
already one person in here. How crazy! Yeah,
cool.
that was so random. Like, I'm not like a huge. It's funny, dude. This whole streaming setup that I have, like Steven Crowder bought this for me. Like, I'm not even like, bro. Like, we have to get a little bit into how politics has driven me insane. Like, it absolutely
Okay,
drove me away from music. It drove me away from people in my family. We have to get a little bit into that because
okay.
it absolutely like I feel like politics got like way too fucking big for itself that it just like everything had to be political. And I'm not saying that that's like that's it is bad, but
Inherently
it
wrong.
drove
Yeah.
me insane, bro, and it drove me away from music. And I really, now that I've been like getting away from politics because I'm like fuck it, it's hopeless, and at least I feel like that a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, I wanted to believe in something so bad, and I was like looking into people that I never would have looked into before because I wanted to believe in something so bad, and I'm not ashamed to admit that I was like fucking conned and bamboozled. But the further away I'm getting from that and the closer I'm getting to God again in my life for the first time, I'm getting closer to music again. And I'm like,
It's
I
you're getting
turned,
back to yourself.
yeah, I turned off like YouTube and shit, like Rumble and everything that I was watching for a while. I just like turned that off and I was like, you know what, bro, just get back into music. And now I was just like fucking going back into the same music I was listening to when I was young. So this is,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean? So
It's a
this,
return to yourself is what it is. It's not because I feel like when we get too focused on the outside world, we can forget our own vision. And there's a I think it's I might be wrong. I think it's Ralph Waldo Emerson. I'm going to end up like totally eating my words later if it's not. Um, but it was he has that idea of self reliance, and I think that it may have been one of the other transcendentalists. It's going to kill me. But
really?
he had the idea of self reliance, and it doesn't mean just relying on yourself in the sense of like economically and stuff. It's the fact that your own point of view has to be a guiding light. You
Yeah,
have to know what's right for you. You know what I mean? As opposed to just trying to find something. And I
yeah,
feel like that's something I've tried to really embody in recent years. Is just let your soul be your guiding light.
yeah, because we're only here for a short amount of time and it's like, what the fuck is all, dude, we go through so many emotions, you go through so much bullshit, and it's like, what are we really fucking here for? Like, you're here to live. And
Yeah, yeah.
music, okay, like let's just start over. For this one person that's in here in this stream right now, my name is
Hey,
To
what's
on
up?
Tap. Thank you for coming. My name is Terrence. The channel is called To on Tap. This is one of my best friends of all time. He goes by C3, Corey Christopher Curless. I love this person with all my heart, and we go back into the
Love you
trenches
too, bro.
of music,
We
and
do, we do.
just long talks. And you have that one friend you always have like a super in-depth convo with me. That's I've always had this with this guy. And so we to like go back, I think I first met Corey when I was, I believe, 14 years old, because I lived in Henderson, Nevada at the time, and I met this guy, and I had very little experience playing in music, but this guy is a drummer. And so at that time when I first met you, bro, I think it was like 2004,
It was
2000,
August. It was August 2005,
2005.
and I remember this vividly. And I actually had something written about it earlier in my notes. We met in August 2005, and you came over because Mark invited our mutual friend at the time, Lamont,
Yeah.
to play bass. And I remember you coming over, and we were so much, even just the fact that you were coming just right into music, and that it wasn't something that you had previously had a lot of experience with. we were so incredibly like impressed by the fact that you had so much enthusiasm for it, and the vibe from you was so much more what we were interested in starting a band with than with Lamont, which is funny.
It's
No
funny.
offense to Lamont,
It's,
but yeah.
so yeah, so I first met Corey, and I probably never picked up a bass guitar in my life. Very little guitar, and we were starting like our the very first band I've ever been a part of, and from the moment we started playing in the band, the very first day, it just clicked. It just clicked,
It did.
and the friends that you make through music are friends that you keep through. At least in my opinion, and like from my experience, those are a lot of the friends that you keep for your entire life, because you can have
They're the
friends.
ones you have the adventures with. They're the ones that even when they get away, they come back, and you have a permanent repertoire with them.
Exactly, because you're creating something together, because you friends that you just party with, that you just get fucked up with, that you're just hanging out with, you might, the only thing you guys have in common is, in my opinion, is like this is just my personal opinion, like destruction of the soul. I mean, like getting fucked up all the time. But for us, we were making music and we were so enthusiastic about it, and we actually believed in the music. At least I did, in my fucking
Yeah,
heart. Like
yeah.
I really believed in the. I was like, I'm gonna fucking make it in this band. You know what I mean? We were like youngins at the time. Like we were so naive. But at that
But it was
time,
so worth it. You have to be. You have to be. You know what
at
I mean? At that time.
at that time, I really thought that. Like, I was like, I am gonna fucking make it in this band. We played in a punk band. This is the two OG members of Without Warning, by the way. So for the stream, Without Warning, I'm gonna drop that in the comments. Without Warning,
Hell yeah,
and
without warning.
so it just clicked automatically, and so we would
Hmm.
start going back. We would go to high school, go to school, and then come straight from school and go into the jam session, and we would just jam. And we had some
We
pretty
had a room.
long. We had some pretty
We had a
long ass
room.
jam sessions, bro.
Yeah. We had a room called the. It was actually my sister's old bedroom before
Yeah.
she got married and moved out of the house, and we converted it to a music room. And we had like very the air conditioning in there like barely worked, so we called it the gates of hell because it was hot all the
It
time
was always
in
hot.
there. And we would jam, dude, till like for like 7 8 hours
Just jamming,
sometimes.
pissing your parents off,
Yeah,
probably. Just jamming.
it was nuts. Yeah, nuts. Sometimes we would like form songs out of it, but dude, it was just
No,
nonstop jamming.
we had some legit songs, and
Oh, we did, yeah.
for the era, that the music that influenced us in that era, I felt like it was from the heart, and it just clicked. And so ever since then, me and this guy Corey, we've always been connected by music. So
Yeah.
there's plenty of concerts we saw together, and so tonight we're gonna have a chat about music, how music moves with you through your life, because I can remember the type of music I was into at every different stage of my life. Like every different stage of my life, there's always been a different genre I was listening to, or a different
Oh, yeah.
feeling that I was feeling. And right now I'm feeling very, I don't know if I want to call it nostalgic for those times that we used to have with that kind of music, but I'm definitely feeling a different type of vibe than I'm kind of going back to those days of Foothill High School 2005 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, dude. It's what you're saying. It's the nostalgia is coming back to me right now as I'm hearing it because last year I actually did this like deep dive of just like listening to Jimmy Eat World and Taking Back Sunday, and
I'm
it
listening to
felt
you. I'm
not
listening to you. I'm just promoting the stream right now, real quick. But I'm
hell
listening to
yeah.
you.
It felt less like me just going through a discography and me actually like revisiting that time, like revisiting those memories and where was I when I heard this, like
Yeah.
that's it brought me back into that world that I feel like, naturally we grow up and we feel like we lose a little bit of ourselves and we as just at the passage of time, but I feel like it really is a testament to good art to stick with you and to be able to like recall it through that, not
T-
just be like,
Timeless,
oh,
bro.
this is cool. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Absolutely timeless, because when I was just thinking about that, and that's something that we're going to talk about tonight, is that I don't I don't really feel like I've heard any music anymore that is timeless. And I don't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel it's so important. What it is, I think it is there's three things that killed like music right now, and I think it is number one, social media, because social media has like compart can't even talk, has put so many different things in little groups, like so many niche groups, like, oh, I like this subculture, I like this subculture, I like this subculture, and
It's stratified everything. There's no monoculture anymore.
there's no
Everything is so
monoculture.
stratified. Stratified. I watched a video earlier where a guy was breaking down how in 2002 you could turn on just hip hop radio, and you would hear Eminem and Jay Z and like the Roots, and you'd hear uh like then somebody super random like Outcast or something, and all of that is sounds
Dude, I love
different. Like
Outkast though. I love
I,
Outkast. Classic.
I love Outcast. I love Outcast as well. But it's like you would hear something different. Like those are all just in the genre of hip hop, one genre, and yet so many different artists in that. And it feels like now, especially with the dawn of social media and with the way that the labels have worked things, now everyone is Drake. Like
Yeah.
you have Jack he was even making the point in the video. Jack Harlow is White Drake, and then Bad Bunny
Is this Russ? Is this Russ you're talking about?
I'd have to go back because I'm not sure. It was part of a stream thing that I was like
I might
I
have saw
know.
that clip.
Yeah. And I thought that was hilarious because I was like, yeah, that is how it is. Everything is so homogenized. It all sounds the same. And what's funny is that sound, that Drake sound, like the sonics of that, comes
Yeah.
from Kanye.
Comes from
It comes
Kanye.
from Kanye, but it's not Kanye. But Kanye evolved in several different directions, and I feel like the people who took off with the things that he did really just watered them down in the sense of Drake with the 808s and heartbreak sound, and with
Uh huh.
Travis Scott and the Yeezus sound that he kind of like pushed into his own corner. And what they do is they don't do anything interesting with it. They just like I'm trying to think of a comparable example in like rock music of a band that just took another band's sound and watered it down. Like that's what it kind of feels like.
It does feel like that, and that's why I've been so tuned out from hip hop lately. And you know me, Corey. Like I've always been pretty into hip hop and stuff, but lately it just feels so soulless. I will say that I like Don Tolliver, but it's been feeling so soulless. And I actually went back today and listened to Jigsaw Falling Into Place by Radiohead on In Rainbows. It
It's
just
like one of the
popped.
greatest songs ever written. It's like one of the
It's
greatest songs ever.
it's so good, and it's like it doesn't have to be flashy. It doesn't have to be, you know. I can hear that song anytime, and it takes me back to that Santa Barbara concert. It takes me back to like those long drives. It takes me back to those like sleepless nights where I was like, I don't know, writing something or gaming or something. I don't, and it just takes me back. But then I hear like a song by Future or whatever, and and I'm not hating on Future and stuff, but like I hear that, and I can't even recall a moment where I was like having a good time listening to that music, because a lot of the time when I was listening to that music, it was just a blur. Like it didn't mean
Mm-hmm.
anything. It was just a blur. Like I was either
Yeah.
getting fucked up, or it was just, you know, trying to be someone I'm not. And so, but when I heard Jigsaw Falling Into Place, I was like, damn, I remember like sitting in my garage, in my mom's garage, like tuning my guitar a specific way so I could learn how to play this song, because it's actually tuned in like a different, I don't know if it's like
Mm.
half step or drop D. And I was like, man, like I remember going to that Santa Barbara concert, like how crazy it was to even get to that concert.
Oh,
And
dude, it was like a whole day. It was like a whole day of us like hustling just to get to the show. I remember,
just to get to the show.
when we did, it was like insane. And Liars opened, and they were so cool. I didn't even know who like I wasn't even familiar with Liars until that show, and then I listened to their whole discography last year. Actually,
Yeah.
amazing band. But funny enough, just because I wanted to make this note really quick, we went to that show in Santa Barbara, and not only was it probably the best concert I've ever been to in my life,
Yeah.
but it was also, I didn't know this until very recently, because that concert is posted on Radiohead's official YouTube page. Like you can watch the whole thing
Really? They played for like
on the
three
page.
hours too.
It's like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And what's crazy about it is, do you know that everyone in the comments is talking about how insane it is that they played Jigsaw Falling Into Place, because that's now on their creep list where they don't play it anymore.
Really?
Yeah,
I
just
didn't
like
know
you know how
that.
they don't play creep anymore, they don't play Jigsaw Falling Into Place anymore either.
I
So
had
we
no
saw like
clue.
history. Yeah, we saw history in that time. Yeah.
Bro, crazy track. And that's what I mean about there's certain music that takes you back to a certain time in your life and you can remember exactly how you felt. But just like lately, like I haven't felt that with any new music in a long time. Like like people were like, "Oh, Jack Harlow's new album." I listened to it, bro. Like that shit went in one ear and out the other, and I was like, "Oh, it's pretty cool." But like,
It's fine.
I don't
Yeah,
remember.
it's
I
fine.
don't even remember anything from it. And I listened to it at least multiple times, at least 3 times. I listened to J. Cole's new album. I listened to it 4 or 5 times, and I'm like, I can't even fucking remember a name, a title from that album. Like there was nothing memorable for me, but I'll always remember Jigsaw falling into place. You know, I'll always remember all
Absolutely.
of the lights. I'll always remember. Um,
The first time I ever heard All of the Lights was actually when he dropped that promo video for
yeah,
Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. You know, like the one he directed
yeah,
with the Phoenix Girl and all that.
uh,
And I actually had to pause. I had to pause. I was like, make it, and I had to pause the video because I was pretty sure I was hearing like the coolest song I'd ever heard, like that.
it's so epic. It's so epic.
Hell yeah.
At least in rap and hip hop, I feel like Kanye has made timeless music. But I want him to cut. He's got a new. Speaking of Kanye, he has a new album coming out on Friday, and I'm excited for it. I'll listen
Bully.
to. I'll yeah, bully. I'm gonna listen to it, but I hope it's like kind of going back to the old stuff. But I'm not getting my hopes up. But I'll be there day one to listen to it. Um, but yeah, is it going to be Jigsaw falling into place? I don't know. You know what I mean? That's just
Is it gonna leave you with that kind of impression that you remember for years? Yeah, like that's what does anymore. What does? You know, actually, one of the things that I can't even say that they did this. I can't even say that they did this, but I gotta say that one of the reasons I got so in, and we saw this. There's another concert we went to a few years ago. The reason I got so into Black Midi, the band Black Midi,
yeah.
was because I felt like someone was finally doing something different, and it wasn't like it was like, oh
Here you go, man.
wow, you know,
Yeah.
like the biggest, you know, biggest deal in the world,
Okay.
but it was something different and striking enough that I got that feeling from the first time I had heard Radiohead, or got the feeling that from the first time I had heard something like even Tool or something like that, where
Yes.
it felt different. It felt almost dangerous in a good way. You
In
know
a
what I
good
mean?
way, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need this? Yeah, sorry, my bad. I know. That's what I mean. Like, I was going back to listening to Deftones a lot recently, and
Deftones.
and I was like, it's crazy that in 2026, this band sounds more relevant than ever. Like, it actually
Oh
sounds
yeah,
like it was made today. You know what I mean?
dude. Yeah, dude. That self-titled Deftones album, Under the Skin, White
White
Pony,
Pony,
that
because
whole era.
it's I keep saying the word, it's timeless. Like the music had meaning, which in itself made it more important. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Now
dude.
now people just like go into the studio with, at least in a lot of hip hop music, and I'm not trying to hit on hip hop, but a lot of people just go into the studio and they just like, they don't even write lyrics. They just go in there and they just like freestyle lyrics. I've been in the studio with a bunch of rappers. I know how they do it. They just go in there and they're just like have some shit on their phone. This is the Drakeification that we were talking about earlier. People just go in and they just say whatever, or they'll just put the beat on a loop and then they just start rapping over it, or they just start singing, and it's like bring back real melodies, real intention with the music, real intention with the music. And I think
You
as
just use the right word. Intention is the word. Intention is the word, and I feel like it's something that's missing from not just music but all art right now. Like almost every medium of art right now is missing the level of intention we used to have.
right, we used to, and that's what going back to when me and Corey, we got 2 viewers in here right now. What's up, 2 viewers? When we were playing in bands back in the day, like I had so much intention with lyrics that I was writing. Like even though we were teenagers, 14, 15 years old. What's up, Maria? How you doing? Even though we were 14, 15 years old, I had so much emotion and intention into the music we were writing because
We cared. We
I really
cared.
cared. I really believed in that shit. I really thought I was gonna make it off this music shit, playing in a garage band and a punk band with my friends at that time. And You know, we need that
That
shit.
energy. Think
We
about
need
that energy.
we need that energy to come back. We really do. We
Think
need
about
that.
if you could bring that to every part of your life. You know what I mean? And it doesn't even have to be this like a sense of ambition. It's just a sense of really loving and believing in what you do on this insane level. And it's something that I feel like we need to rediscover as both a culture and as individuals.
Yeah, I've been seeing some people talk about how there is a theory that I didn't even finish my last thing about what ruined
I'm so
music. So
sorry.
no, 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 it's cool. We like to get on rants around here, and you're
We
one
do.
of the
We
best
do.
rant you're one of the best ranters I know. So that's why
Dude, I rant too much. I rant too much.
hey,
You get my messages all the
you
time.
should be a streamer, bro, because you're good at ranting. You write good rants. You write epic rants.
I write too many rants.
What's up, man?
Hand me the brown blanket.
Yeah, I got you. But what I was saying is, like, number one, social media ruined music for that reason of that everything is fake. Let's be honest.
Mm.
But now, sorry, now,
Thank you.
there you go. Sorry. Now it's a popularity contest. Music is a popularity contest.
It's a marketing contest.
It's a marketing
It's a
contest.
marketing contest.
Like
And I hate to say it, but the same goes for literature as well. It's actually maybe even worse in the literature and publishing world.
is it really?
Everything is selling yourself and a persona. It's not about the book you write. It's not about the music you write.
Yes, and we need to find a way to get back to like what's real because it seems like the people who are the most popular on in music and like they'll throw Ice Spice in front of you. They'll throw
Nice.
yeah, because like she has like a million followers. They'll throw some other bullshit in front of you. I'm gonna answer this call on the stream. Hey,
Mm.
what's up, Brilliant?
What's going on with you, dog? What you doing?
I'm on a live stream right now doing a music chat with one of my amazing ranting music friends.
You said what?
I'm on a live stream right now with one of my best friends. We're talking about music.
No, bad.
Yes, sir.
On Muse?
No, we're on Twitch.
Oh, okay.
Say what up to the stream.
Hit me up if you up, hit me up afterwards.
All right, say what's up to the stream, Brilliant.
What's going on? What's going on, Strain?
What's up?
Be brilliant. Say what's up to him. Anyhow, I'll call you later, man.
All right, brother.
Later, man. Anyhow, so yeah, it's a popularity contest. They will throw, I mean, they'll throw the whole 2010s era. They threw so much garbage at us all the time, and we were just eating it up because I feel like social media was so new at the time, and we were just all taking it in. But then we had like the SoundCloud era, the Lil Xans, the fucking whatever the fuck, the Lil Peeps. You know what I mean? I still am telling you, dude, I'm gonna make a documentary about Lil Peep.
Little Pete. I'll state my controversial claim that I was a Little Pete.
people will say that Lil Peep changed the game, and I can't even tell you a Lil Peep song. And I'm not to speak ill of the dead. I mean, he's dead, rest his soul. But I can't even tell you a Lil Peep song. And people were like making such a big deal out of Lil Peep, and I'm not gonna say here, hey, on Lil Peep, but you know what I mean, right? Like it was just like the music didn't. I didn't feel it in my soul. Like going back to Jigsaw falling into place, and then the third thing, so number one was how everything is like spread out, how there is no like monoculture like you said at the beginning. The second thing was the popularity contest, how it doesn't matter what your sound is as long as you have the attention. And then the third thing is from a producer side was loops, and I'm guilty, I've used loops before too, but from a producer side, loops, people just using loop like, oh, I'm gonna use splice. I'm gonna grab a loop here. I'm gonna use this loop, and I'm gonna just put a drum loop in here, and then I'm just gonna put like this keyboard loop in here, and then I'm just gonna grab this output sample splice, and then I felt like all the songs started sounding the same. And those are my three opinions on what killed music, because for me, music, like when you see Radiohead, they're like literally coming up with that shit straight from. Remember seeing Johnny Greenwood like making music, making notes with the frequency of the microphones, like the
Of
feedback.
the microphone. Yeah, that was insane. That
It's
was
insane.
There's something about actually using things around you and trying to find different textures. And you're right, the fact that there was such a focus on loops in in the 2010s, and also it leads to something that I feel is also a big problem, in the sense that I feel like if you're going to be a producer, you have to be also a musician first and then
Yeah.
a producer second. And the problem is that now you have people whose whole ambition is to like make a guitar sample loop pack. Yes, I'm throwing shade. but
Damn.
but that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do with your musical knowledge. Like that's kind of not, that wasn't against you. That was,
No,
I'm
no,
pretty
I know,
sure
I know
you,
what you're talking about.
yeah. But that's I feel like just there's more, you have to care about music first, instead of just seeing it as not just compartmentalized genres, but also compartmentalized sounds. Like
Yeah.
the reason all that 2010s pop and hip hop sounds the same is because they're all put, like you just said, they're all pulling the same samples from Splice.
Yeah.
They're only modding these synths so far. At the end of the day, you need that dirtiness. You need that thing. The dirtiness, the grittiness. I would say even one thing I always experimented with in my own music was like, I love leaving in a little clipping. You know what I mean? I like
Yeah.
the mix to be a little imperfect. A lot of earlier electronic music was very imperfect sounding. I like that. You have to have a little bit more of like, you have to have a little bit more of adventurousness, and unfortunately that producer centered mindset um, doesn't reward adventurousness. It rewards cleanliness,
Right.
if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it sounds too like, and that's why AI has stole the that sound so easily. Because everything was like on the grid, everything was perfectly built, everything was like mixed to sound so perfect. So the AI, we basically, the way that we made music in the 2010s and a little bit of the 2000s too, was literally so easy for AI to just copy it. You know what I mean? Because
Um,
you know what I mean?
it's
As in,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
let's put a perfect drum pattern that has no mistakes. Because in the DAW, we're gonna build a drum loop, and then we're just gonna copy paste, copy paste, copy paste to the end of the song, and then
And
we're
there's
gonna
no variation in the drumming
every
besides.
exactly. We're just gonna put the auto, and I got nothing against using auto tune, but we're gonna put auto tune throughout the whole song, and then the computer can easily copy that. So it's like we kind of screwed
Mhm.
ourselves. We kind of, as musicians, I think loops were very harmful to the music creative side. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. And also the entire idea, and I'm not against this in theory, but the entire idea of everything being so cleaned up and homogenized, and even quantizing everything. I'm not against, being able to line up notes and line up the song. But for example, Rick Beato on YouTube,
Yeah, he's legit. I love that guy.
yeah, he had a thing. He where last year he put "Fool in the Rain" by Led Zeppelin into a DAW, and he took the drum pattern, John Bonham's drum pattern, that
Uh
which
huh.
is like one of the best drum patterns of all time. It's like boom boom ta ta boom
Yeah.
boom, and it has like a stagger to it. And he hit quantize to show what it would sound like, and it sounds like shit. It it it
Really?
it it
I never
it,
saw that
it,
video.
it completely destroys the beat. It completely destroys the soul of the beat, which is what that whole song is. That whole song has that weird off swagger kind of to it, and instead it turned it into this. It's supposed to be bone, bone, and he destroyed that on purpose to show what quantizing
Yeah.
does. Like that's, we used to have a soul. Even in that's why I think people really misunderstand drums are not about timing. I've sat there in the studio with people literally counting, like they think drums are about timing. No, it's about groove,
It's
it's
about the
about
feel.
rhythm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about rhythm.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be adding to the soul of the music, not just a skeleton of it.
Yeah. Drum machines, as much as I love machines, they're more about timing
Mm-hmm.
because it's a pattern.
And different textures. I like the textures that drum machines
For
create,
for sure.
the sounds they create, I guess I should say,
Yeah, man. So
as
that
opposed to but yeah, they definitely are more based on timing. Funny enough, a person that I've already brought up without bringing them up a few times in this stream, I programmed a beat into a drum machine with
yeah.
a counter rhythm into it one time.
Uh huh.
Not a counter rhythm, a polyrhythm into it one time. So it had the 4/4, the boom boom. boom, boom to basic 4/4 beat, but then I put like a bongo kind of thing going on, so a boom, boom, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
they told me that I didn't understand drums,
For real?
and I was like, you don't even play drums. What are you
That's
talking
fucked up,
about?
dude. That's fucked up.
Because they said it had no timing. I was like, wait, how can it have no timing? It's a drum machine.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you
that's
can't make it not have timing.
exactly. You gotta be more. There's people. That's what I mean too. Is that the digital music stage, the digital audio workstation has really closed some people's minds, in my personal
It
opinion,
absolutely has.
because it made
It absolutely.
everybody like follow the same formula. So that's just my personal opinion. Why music has kind of been not as timeless anymore. Maybe I should find a different word, but not as grabbing to me lately because one, social media, I feel it killed it. The monoculture, the popularity contest, and I think the producers overusing loops. I think the producers
Oh
over
yeah. Oh my god.
and like I'm guilty. I used to use a lot of loops too, but I really have stepped far away from loops. And I was like so deep into it. Like I was buying all these loop packs. I had all these like I had a hard drive like filled with like thousands and thousands of loops. And I was talking to my buddy Kid Sound. I gotta clip this part, Kid. I love you so much. He was like, "Nah, man. I just had to start writing." I was talking to him a couple weeks ago, and he's like, "I just had to start like writing my own stuff because these loops are not even me. They're not as in they're not me, but he's like, it didn't even come from my soul. It didn't even come from who
Yeah.
I am." So yeah,
You're better off. You're better off making mistakes in your music. And this sounds like maybe a radical thing to say, or maybe just like a complacent thing to say, where it sounds like something new that somebody would say, but
yeah,
it's true. You're better off making mistakes in your own music and learning to love those mistakes than you are perfecting it.
yeah. I think that takes time to find out about yourself because when you're
Oh, it
first,
takes
yeah,
everything. It takes
because
a whole. It's your whole journey.
when you're first starting out and you're like you just want to like be like, oh, I want my music to sound good. I want it to sound right. I want it to sound like everybody else's music that I listen to. But like with the part of this journey that you and I are on together, we understand now that that actually is a little bit of the beauty right there.
Yeah,
What
you
you were
have
just
to.
saying.
You come to embrace your own flaws. It's part of life in general, but it's part of the spirituality of music as well. Is learning how to embrace your own flaws, and maybe flaws is the wrong word. Maybe it's just your individuality that maybe you're afraid of, like
Yeah,
the roughness of it all.
yeah, yeah. I was playing around with AI music for like 2 or 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. I even like paid for the subscription. I was like, I'm gonna try this out, and then I got so bored from it, and I was like, I am not even having fun using this program anymore because I'm just clicking something and then something's popping up or writing all these different inputs and putting something out. And I was like, but part of the experience for me was like being in the studio, collaborating with other people, like the late nights. I would stay up till like 4 or 5 in the morning sometimes, like trying to nail that riff, trying
Mm-hmm.
to learn that piano chord and just get the timing right. And then at times I was so frustrated during that moment. I was so frustrated because I was like, damn, like I'm not the best piano player and I'm trying my best to figure this out. And then the AI came along and the loop packs came along. And I started using them, and then it literally just hit me this year when I was like, I actually miss that. I miss like the struggle of writing music.
It has to be organic. One thing I always prided myself on in Dreaming with Machines is that even if I made a loop, it was always my own hand that did it. I always made it by my own hand.
Yeah,
And especially on those more soundscape tracks, like toward the end
yeah,
of what I was releasing, it was 1,000% organic. Where I would sit there, if the song was 20 minutes, that was 20 minutes of me playing keyboard. Like
yeah,
that's what it was. Like that's you have to be present in your music for better or worse, even if it's an electronic beat, even if it's loops. Your approach to constructing those loops has to have yourself present in it.
right. Because that's real music. That's real, and they.
Has to come from somewhere.
I've heard people say recently that They think that there is, you were talking about like Rick Beato or something, but
Mm.
I've heard people say that they think there might be a AI renaissance. I mean, there might be a renaissance because of AI music. They're like, there's gonna be in the next couple years, real art, real music is gonna be more valuable than ever because we're gonna be flooded nonstop with generic AI sounding music. So I hope that's
And you're going to
true.
see imperfection become highlighted more. Like you're going to see things more like progressive rock and experimental start to rise as people are looking for different textures and different sounds. And the people are going to look for something different. And you're going to see traditionalism come back too. You're going to see jazz and folk and things like that, and even orchestra music in its various forms come back. But even if it's within a different context, but you're going to see that come back, and you're also going to see people stepping into new arenas and doing new things. You're already seeing it in the mainstream with bands like Geese. That band basically took all of what like prog rock had been for the past 5 years, and then made it into like, for the lack of a better term, pop music in a good way.
They're called
Um,
geeks. I haven't heard it.
Geese, dude, Geese. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Geese, the album, their
Geese, like
newest
a
album,
goose, like a goose.
like a goose, but plural.
Man, you don't be
Geese.
sniffing that goose.
Dude, multiple Geese. You pop in multiple bottles because it's Geese. Dude, remember? I don't know if you remember your 21st birthday. I don't know if I can look at a bottle of Grey Goose again. Uh,
Dude, blurry nights.
uh,
Girl, I sip
but
the goose, and I ain't gonna
I ain't
change.
gonna say. Uh, whatever happened to Ellen Mac? They were party rocking.
That was so
They
funny,
party
dude.
rocked too close to the sun.
That was such a funny time. But yeah,
It
so
was.
geese.
Geese. Their newest album is called. They have a few albums, but their newest one that came out is called "Getting Killed." Geese, getting killed. The
I'm gonna write
album
that in the
is.
comments so I can remember it.
It's like it is one of the best albums I've heard in a few years. In a few years, and it takes something that was going on in England. They're an American band, but it takes something that was going on in England the past few years, the windmill scene that you saw Black Midi and Black Country New Road coming out of,
Yeah,
and they basically took a lot of the things that you saw present in that scene and kind of worked them into a little bit more of a mainstream context,
yeah.
and skyrocketed. They were on SNL a few weeks ago playing. Like that band is the biggest band in the world right now,
For
and
real?
they are doing something so cool and different.
I have to check it out.
Absolutely.
I gotta check it out. But like you were saying though, that I think it's crazy too how like older music is kind of having more standout moments
Mm-hmm.
because of memes.
Oh yeah,
Every
yeah.
time there's like a meme that's popular, a song comes back and then like that song shoots up in the charts. I didn't know if you noticed right now, but like Google Dolls are in right now, and I was like, what the?
Iris, yeah,
Yeah, Iris is in it, but because I saw on Instagram, Genius, Genius, the lyric, the music,
yeah. The movie
yeah,
site, yeah.
yeah, like it was just yesterday or 2 days ago they posted a video with the lead singer from Goo Goo Dolls, and then like their Instagram was like blowing up because everybody was using their song for those like "Dad, what did you look like in the '90s" memes,
Mm-hmm.
and I went back and I listened to that song, and I was like, "Yo, this is actually like a really fucking good song." Like,
They're
um,
great.
yeah,
I was a huge Goo Goo Dolls fan when I was younger. I've
really,
seen them live. I've seen them live. I was a huge fan, and
they're
I
good,
like
dude.
had all their albums, even their ones in the '90s, like their like late '80s, early '90s ones before they had Iris and went off. That band is like special to me. That's one of my like '90s bands in my eyes. I love Goo Goo Dolls.
Dude, they're so good. And I just think it's crazy though how that that song is having a moment right now because of a meme. And then a couple years earlier, Fleetwood Mac had a moment, and then their music like became
Tears for Fears as
Tears for
well.
Fears. Tears for Fears. Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Tears for Fears actually.
Oh, dude,
That
Tears
that
for
been
Fears
popping
also. I
up in
don't know
my
if you saw.
playlist all the time lately. And I was like, damn, going back to those older songs, like I still remember every single word. I still remember I don't know. It's just a good feeling. And then, like I
It
said,
is.
going back to Iris and how it was having such a big moment. I feel like the older music, that sound, it will be having a renaissance again. It will be coming
Oh
back.
yeah.
Maybe that's what you mean with Geese. Maybe Geese has like something similar to that. But I just think it's funny how like some of the most popular songs right now are songs that were written 25 years ago.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you definitely see that with TikTok. You see it with movies as well. I don't know if you saw the movie Marty Supreme with
I didn't see
Timothy
it. No,
Chalamet or whatever.
no, no.
It ends. Okay, I don't want to tell you what it ends with. That's spoilers, but it uses retro music, specifically 80s music, even though the movie's it takes place in the 50s. It uses 80s music, specifically Tears for Fears and New Order, throughout, and it's really good. Like it creates a whole vibe for the movie. Like it creates the tone of the movie
Yeah,
for it to have this 50s setting with 80s music. Like that is the tone.
yeah.
Um,
I don't
and
think
I thought that was cool. I thought that
I,
was amazing.
I don't think. Hear me out. I don't think 25 years from now, people are gonna be like, dude, remember that J. Cole song? Play that shit. That's just my personal opinion.
So
I
so
feel
you
like
know it's
20. I
funny.
feel like 25 years from now, people are still gonna be like that Tears for Fears song. You know what I mean? That
Yeah,
Google. I really do feel like because I'm like, yo, I listen to the new music that comes out today, and I'm not saying it's cool for the moment, but it's just like it's in one ear and out the other. It doesn't stay with me. Like I don't know if it's because I'm older. I don't know if it's because it's harder for me to get into stuff now. But it doesn't. Nothing lands with me anymore. Nothing sticks with me.
and I think it's because people are speaking so much to the moment. Like for example, I don't think even someone huge, like think about this, and I'm about to talk about two people I don't really care for that much, but I'm trying to kind of make a point.
Yeah.
Is even someone huge like Taylor Swift
Yeah.
only speaks to the moment. Like she doesn't make music that feels like it's going to be around forever.
Yeah.
And then another person who I don't terribly care for, but I've always thought they were kind of interesting, is like Adele. I think Adele, people will know her songs in years, like maybe more so than someone like J. Cole or something like that. I feel like
Yeah.
When We Were Young and even like Hello and stuff like that has a certain staying power, but it's empty. It's an empty staying power. It's like I'm trying to think of something from the past to liken it to. Like Flock of Seagulls and I ran.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
still know that song. They still know that song, but they know it for being cheesy. They know it
They know it'd cheesy for Vice City
for
and
being
stuff.
like the 80s, you know.
Yeah.
It's not something that has like a soul to it, and unfortunately you see that in pop music. Mainstream music has I don't mean to sound like a Bob Seger, you know, with the
Yeah.
old time rock and roll, but
Yeah.
mainstream music has lost its soul. It has absolutely lost its
Lost
soul.
his fucking soul. Lost his fucking soul. I don't think that. Yeah. There's not. One of my
As
friends.
much as I love her, you know who's the worst culprit of it? You know
Who?
as much as I love her, you
Who?
know who is the worst culprit?
Who?
Is Charlie XCX.
Really?
Um, I love her. I love her. I like her
I
music.
like her music.
I especially like her old producer Sophie. Rest in peace. I think they're really cool. But I gotta say, she's like the embodiment of like. Well, I mean, she's even in a movie like a fake mockumentary or whatever called The Moment. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
everything is just current right
The
now. Let's
moment.
get
Right now.
up.
What is it?
Let's party. Like that's it. That's it. That's all she is. And I loved Brat. I loved Brat just as much as everybody else
I
did.
like it too.
But it felt like a crank out. You know what I mean? It felt like something no one's going to remember in 10 years at all.
We'll see. We'll see.
I could
I
be wrong. Watch me be totally wrong about that. I'd love to be.
we'll see. I do like Charlie a lot. I think she's great.
Me too.
But
I do.
there was one other thing I was gonna say about that exact.
I'm so sorry, dude. I keep
No,
on
no, no. It's
ranting.
cool. This is exactly how streams are supposed to go. We're supposed to be having long ass rants like this. Um, when it hits me, it hits me. But yeah. So what else is going on? What besides Geese? What other bands should I be looking out for? What else
So,
is on?
couple things that I actually have with that. So I kind of briefly mentioned the windmill scene,
Hold on one
and
second. What's
there's a
that?
band called.
The fan? Yeah, I'm listening to you.
So we were talking. I mentioned briefly the windmill scene, and a couple people I kind of want to mention from that windmill scene that I've been listening to
Yeah,
are. I mean, obviously you know Black Midi. We went to go see
dude,
them live.
crazy,
Uh, it was crazy.
insanity.
They played for like that first opening track wasn't even on one of their albums, and it was like a 10-minute song. It was hilarious. It was
Just
awesome.
banging.
Uh, but from that same community, from that same like scene in England,
Yeah,
there's a band called Black Country New Road. That's really cool. They're a little more folksy, a little more on the folk
Black
side,
Country New Road.
Black Country, New Road, and
I'm writing all these
Squid.
down in the comments so I can go back to it
Yeah,
later.
absolutely. Absolutely. Squid, like the animal. See, we got squid, geese. Everyone's an animal right now.
Squid.
Squid. And then this one is actually the bass player of Black Midi is coming out with a new project called, and this is such an awkward name for a band, but I like it. It's called My New Band Believe. That's the name of it. My New Band Believe. And they're coming out with an album next month. Their
Billy,
debut
like
album next month.
Billy. Billy.
What's up?
My new band,
Believe.
Billy.
Believe, like you
Oh,
believe
believe,
in
like you
something.
believe.
My new band Believe.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check
And
all these
then
out.
one big one that's I'm gonna say from the same scene, but then I'm gonna kind of transfer it over because I have another one that I wanted to recommend also that's off genre, a little bit different.
Yeah.
So there is someone from that scene who's a little different, and like I said, I wanted to add another one. There's a guy who started playing piano and keyboard and doing a little bit more of like a bedroom pop kind of sound
Uh-huh.
when he was in the windmill scene, and then he started composing music for the movies of Yorgos Lanthimos. So like Emma Stone's more recent stuff that she's been in, like the
Yeah.
weird stuff that's
Uh-huh.
been Yorgos Lanthimos. And his name is Jerskin Fendrix, so kind of a weird name.
Yeah.
But Jerskin Fendrix, really interesting experimental artist, like really interesting experimental artist. And then that leads me into my next recommendation, which is a French girl who released her debut album. She'd been songwriting and producing for a while in the scene, but she released her first album last year, and her name, I think I'm gonna butcher it, is Oklou or
Oakloo.
Oklau. It's OKLOU, all one word.
OKLAU.
LOU.
LOU.
Yeah, OKLOU, all just one word. And she's so interesting. A matter of fact, a lot of her stuff is like percussionless. It's electronic, but there's no like drums necessarily. So it has a kind of ambient style to it, but with a lot of like arpeggios.
Yeah.
So you have like a rhythmic beat style, but without any actual like drum track.
Really?
It's really interesting. Yeah, it's really cool.
That is cool. I've been finding good music, and it's so crazy because I really have been finding good music, and then like I look at how many plays it has, and it has like less than 1,000 plays, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I look at
yeah.
it and I'm like, yo, this is such a good song, and it has like 700 plays. The artist has like 93 followers. Like it's completely unknown to the masses, and it's not even like the slightest bit viral at all. And I think
Yeah,
that's
isn't it crazy that there's people that make music that isn't successful by like whatever metric we're trying to measure it by, but it isn't successful, but it still hits. Like some of the most interesting music is now buried in a corner. Like
it's
it's crazy.
crazy. Yeah, the song is called Cold that I've been really stuck on. It's called Cold Sweat, and it's by this
Cold sweat.
girl. It's by this girl Liliana Marie. I think that's just like her regular name. I'm not even.
Okay.
I never met
Okay.
her or anything. But like I looked at the song on Spotify, and like this song is jamming, bro. But it has like 3,000 plays.
And then
3,000.
the title one more time. I wrote her
Cold
name down. What's the
Cold Sweat. Cold Sweat.
cold sweat? Love
I
it.
was like, this
Love
song
it.
is such a jam. It has like less than maybe 3,000, 4,000 plays, and I was like, how is this not mainstream? Like, it's so good. You know what I
I
mean?
can't wait. I can't wait.
There's so many artists that I've been finding lately that I don't know what it is that it just doesn't catch on. I feel like the algorithm is trying to. This is just my personal take. I feel like it's trying to just like force feed us dumbed down music. You know what I mean? Just
It's I mean, okay, so back in the 2005, and I forgot exactly what brought this to light because I know it wasn't brought to light till way later. But back in 2005, there was kind of a payola scheme going on with radio stations and labels, where
yeah.
a lot of music was being pushed by the labels, whether it was actually getting like any traction with the audiences or not, where it was getting pushed by the labels to be pplayed on the radio. So essentially, they were paying to play the songs on the radio.
They were
I
creating the
have a feeling.
monoculture by pay to play.
Yeah, you just said it. You just said it. So I feel like in a way, we've almost done a reverse of that with the algorithm, in the sense that we've buried so many things because of whether it's label interference or whatever it might be, or maybe even like a bot interference, or people who have like a farm, like play farming and stuff like that. I feel like we've literally, the algorithm has just created a new pay to play that doesn't create a monoculture.
Yeah.
It just buries things.
And that makes, in a weird, the weirdest way, it makes our society less connected. It makes us like less emotionally tied to people. You know what I mean?
And then you see the political side of that too.
Yeah.
Like you see how we've kind of all divided. And I I'll try to stay light on that, because I feel like that's a stream in and of itself. But
Yeah.
we are so divided right now.
We're
We
so
are so
divided,
incredibly
bro.
divided, and we're divided in art, we're divided in politics, we're divided in culture, and it's the people. I don't want to get too about this, but it's the people at the top who
Yeah.
know that this is happening. They know they're doing this to
For
us.
sure. Like, what was the last great band to have like a ballad that everybody sings together? Like, cause I can't think of. I'm gonna. What was
It's
the
got to be
what?
10, 20 years ago.
What was the
Like,
last like great ballad that everybody would sing? Like everybody knew like word for word. Like, you know what I mean? Like what? I can't even remember what. Maybe people would laugh at me if I said like My Chemical Romance, Black Parade, like Killers. Maybe Killers when we were young. Is that really a ballad? I don't really know. But like when was
well,
the
like wake me up when September ends, would by Green Day. That's,
yeah
I don't think that's the last example of it, but
yeah
that's like an example of it.
yeah
It's like it used to be.
like a big one obviously is like Queen, like Bohemian Rhapsody or something.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
But like
absolutely.
when is I haven't heard a band or an artist make like a ballad in a long time that like everybody knows that everyone's like emotionally
Oh
tied
yeah,
to. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It was
That has
Nelly.
a universal appeal. I'm sorry. What's
It
that?
was Nelly.
It was Nelly with was it
Country grammar. I don't know.
country? What was the
Underlay,
song he had
underlay,
with?
mama, yeah, yeah. Hey, if you don't mind,
Oh,
I'm gonna hit the buds, bro. Over on streaming.
I'm a little jealous, only because I'm currently trying to kick. It's not going well.
That's good for you. I think that's
We'll
great for
see.
you.
We'll see.
I heard you was gonna hit the buds.
I
Surprise.
heard you gentlemen about to hit the button.
So, side note, surprisingly, I know you were saying earlier that you weren't cool with some other people, but you know who's like been like coming around, talking to me a lot,
Hmm.
and Dan, and he's like been super cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He's just
I used
so
to do. I did heavy stuff. I don't want to say too much on stream. I did some heavy stuff with Dan
yeah,
about like 10 years ago, and that was the last time we were in
yeah.
one
That's
night,
yeah.
and that was my last experience with Dan. I was like, I
Really?
can't do this anymore. Yeah, yeah.
Everybody goes through different things. He,
Maybe
he
it's me. Maybe I'm the toxic one.
he's been coming around. You know, I haven't talked to him in a long time, but he's been coming around and
They still carry a gun.
he's been talking to me like super positive, and I'm like, I don't know, but I know Goofy still got that appetite.
Goosey, goofy. That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, man. But back to what we were getting to, like, yeah, I haven't heard a band that has like a super huge ballad in a long time. I actually went to the My Chemical Romance concert
Oh,
a couple months ago. Is I think in
with your son,
August.
with your
Yeah,
son,
I think
right?
it's in August. And my buddy was like, "Dude, that's tight." He saw MCR and he was like, "Maybe people like think that's kind of corny now," but he was like, "They were the last
No,
band to have a real ballad." And I thought about it
they
for a
were the
second.
last band to really hit the. I feel like they were the last band to really hit a complete mainstream hall. Like, for example, you just heard me say Geese is like the biggest band in the world, but I'm pretty sure most people in the mainstream haven't heard Geese, as
Yeah, I
opposed to
haven't until you just told
MCR.
me right now.
Yeah,
So I still have to check it
until
out.
but MCR, dude, everybody knew MCR. Everybody knew I'm Not Okay. Everybody knew Welcome to the Black Parade.
Yeah.
Everyone knew those songs. And
Everybody knew Helena when that shit came out.
oh, dude, I remember seeing the premiere of the video before going to school in the morning. I remember seeing the premiere of the Helena video, and when the girl gets out of the coffin and does her dance and everything, that was that I was I never became like emo. Like I never like
Yeah.
took on the whole style or anything like that, but that's probably the
I was
most
about that
emo I
life.
ever felt. That's the most emo I ever felt, was seeing the Helena video and seeing the girl dance, and I was like, this is so cool.
And it's crazy
This
now.
is so
It's crazy now because they'll go on tour now and they know that their music is so valuable because they were charging like $300 for one ticket at the beginning of the like when the
Do you
tickets
know I
were on
saw them
sale.
back in 2005? I saw
Yeah.
them back in 2005 when Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge had just come out, and it was $25 a ticket.
Yeah, and now they're like that tour. I don't know if it sold. I'm pretty sure it sold out, but the
Well, I'm
tickets were
sure.
like,
I'm sure.
yeah, the tickets were like $300 a piece, and it was like not even on the floor, and that's because they know that the music is very valuable now because nobody's making or playing music like that anymore. You know
It's
what I
it's
mean?
a it's like a it's like a relic.
It's like a relic. Yeah.
It is.
Damn.
And
Either
good,
one,
and a good one too. MCR rocks.
dude.
MCR rocks. They
Dude.
were one of the last real bands, and what I mean by that is the creativity, like a like the whole like mix of punk and metal, and then to have almost like a tongue-in-cheek approach to emo, where it's not like, oh my gosh, the darkness of my heart. It's more like fun than that. It's
Yeah.
like so much more fun than that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was so original, and then to take that blend and make it mainstream, that was like that. No one's doing that now. No one can do that now.
Do you think it's crazy how a lot of the people who were like scene kids who were in the emo scene, how they ended up getting super into the EDM scene? Like
Oh,
they just like transitioned overnight.
well, I have a theory. I have two theories on that. Number one was obviously
Yeah.
Skrillex,
Yeah, yeah.
because from being a part of a scene kid and then getting into electronic music, and but the other thing that I think that really was a big part of that also is, this is going to sound critical, and I don't mean for it to, but it's going to sound critical.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of those people were discovering their own taste in music in real time. And so it was like, oh, I like this. Okay, now I like this thing. Okay, now I like whatever the next thing that comes along. And it's not to say that they didn't eventually develop some individual taste, but I can tell you that I saw a lot of people that just kind of hopped on whatever. And I always thought it was really funny. It's something I always thought was really funny was I always loved electronic music. I've always loved
Yeah.
electronic music. And I remember being in the early 2000s, and I one of the first albums that ever just fucking grabbed me was Halfway Between the Gutter and the Stars by Fatboy Slim. And I
Classic.
remember I
Classic.
remember hearing that, and I was like, this is the best album I've ever heard, and I wanted to play this music. And I remember showing it to friends, and what they would always do is they would quote the line from Eminem where he'd be like, "Nobody listens to techno"
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever, and
yeah.
they would always say that to me. And then 2 years later, they all like loved stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I always thought that was really funny because none of them even knew what they were talking about. They didn't even know, like they didn't even know what electronic music was, but they were like regurgitating something they had heard someone else say.
Yeah.
And that's kind of I kind of don't that's maybe one of my least favorite things about how people approach art in general. Like I feel like you have to have an experience with things. You can't just like for example, in the is it the 40-year-old virgin when Seth Rogen says like I know you're gay because you listen to Coldplay or whatever, and then everyone didn't want to like admit that they liked Coldplay after that.
Really? I didn't even know that happened.
Yeah, dude, oh my gosh, it was so bad because I don't hate Coldplay. I
Yeah,
think they're a knockoff Radiohead a little bit, but I don't hate them.
for sure.
um they
Nobody
but I remember,
Radiohead is so goaded. So
dude,
good.
they're so goaded that they have like uh
There's not even another
children.
band. Yeah, there's not even another band that can compare to them. They just have children, like you said.
Yeah, they have like Coldplay and they have Muse and stuff like that. They have bands that kind of like try to be like Radiohead,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
they don't. There is no like, or even like Snow Patrol and stuff like that. There's bands that try to be like Radiohead,
yeah,
but
yeah.
there is no Radiohead. And they proved that with every album. They proved that with
Every
every
album.
album because every album is so different than the last. Moonshaped Pool, which is the last one to come out 10 fucking years ago,
I know.
uh, is I remember the day it came out, and I was like, they did it again. You know what I mean? They
Yeah,
they managed to blow me away again. And that
Yeah.
was a very quiet album too. And I beautiful,
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful.
I don't know if they're ever gonna come back, but if they ever do, it will be worth the wait. We know that for sure.
Oh, more than worth the wait. And the smile, which was Tom York and Johnny Greenwood's other project
Yeah.
that they had going, it was cool, but it was like a cleaned up Radiohead, if that makes any sense. Like
I
it was
didn't. I don't know
very
if I
like
heard it. I'm not 100%
it's
sure if I heard
okay.
that.
It's like it was okay. They released 3 albums, I think, in the past few years. But they're it's very much. I mean, it's a holdover. It feels like a snack until the meal that is Radiohead, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know that for anyone watching the stream, and like I said, I'm gonna clip it later. Corey also does. He plays drums, and he also, huge audiophile just like me. But you were working on a project for a long time called Dreaming with Machines, which is a lot of experimental, a lot of prog, a lot of just um, like ambience meditation too. I would say there
Absolutely.
was some meditation music, and then you said that you unfortunately lost so much stuff, and I know that's so sad and so depressing. You lost all the music that you created over the years on like a hard drive error or something that happened.
So my hard drive got wiped, and I had nothing. I had things saved only with my distributor.
Yeah,
So the the hard drive gets wiped, and I ended up losing like every like master track of what I had. So what I was gonna do, and this is so not ideal. What I was gonna do is try to download everything like a consumer of my own music, just to have the library of it all again.
yeah,
And then there was a payment issue with the distributor, and there was a fraud issue, and it ended up being like an old card I had saved that wasn't valid anymore. So it wasn't real fraud. It was
yeah,
just
yeah.
like like a card that didn't work. And there was a fraud issue, and they put it up and were essentially like, your account's been compromised and you're going to have to figure this out. And so I called them, I tried to figure it out, and they ended up closing the account. So
Damn. And so you told me
everything's gone.
you told me
It's all
that made you like
it's
want
all
to
gone.
quit music forever. Is that how you still feel? It's
Okay.
okay. It's okay if
So
you felt like that because I was gonna get to a point, but
I
did
actually have a very long thing to say about that I have kind of
okay,
written down.
okay,
And so I'm gonna say I kind of want to tell a little bit of a story, and it
yeah.
feels like I'm going to be going off topic, but then it's going to be leading back to the question you just asked.
Yeah, because I
Is
I
that
went
okay?
yeah, it's fine, man. Because I went through something like that. As maybe people don't know, but I had like a huge collection of gear, and
Oh, I
I
remember
went
that.
out to go DJ a wedding 2 years ago, and I like brought all this extra gear just in case, and I DJ'd the wedding for really cheap. Like I did it for like $500 just because I was like, this is a young couple, and it was such a
Starting
small
off.
wedding, and they were like, hey, we're looking for like a DJ, like we don't really, and everything was so small. The wedding was like in a backyard. It wasn't that big, and I could tell that they were just like a young couple, and they were just coming up, and I was like, yeah, I'll DJ your wedding for $500. So I did it. They paid it, and it was a great wedding. We had a good time, and I happened to be, my job was overworking me like crazy, and I was so tired. I got home and I left my stuff in my vehicle, and because it was so heavy, and I lived on the fourth floor, there was no
Yeah.
elevator, and I was like, I just
Was
didn't.
that the was that your when you were in LA?
No, it was in Texas, and
Okay.
I'm just gonna leave this here, just overnight, and then I'll come get it in the morning. And all my stuff got robbed. The police didn't help me with anything,
Of
and
course.
at that very moment, I felt like, damn, I don't even know if I'm like I cried like I was so depressed,
I
and
know what you're
I was
talking
like
about.
I don't know if I'm ever gonna do music ever again because I felt that broken. I feel like I lost so much music, and I was like, how I was like, and so I kind of just put my head down and went back to work, and then I was just doing what I was doing, and nothing felt the same, but I still always had that itch to make music. And eventually the only way to break that depression and that, because all of my friends, as of you, I have a lot of other friends that I know only through music, they kind of like helped lift me up, and they're like, hey, sending me music here and there, are sending me this, and it took me a long time. It took me a long time to fall back in love with the creation of making music together. And streaming actually has been a big help of it because we've been doing a lot of collaborative projects. But I was like, damn, if it wasn't for, if I'm really gonna give up music, then I might have to give up these friends too, because they keep bringing it around me and it keeps reminding me of the music. And I was like, nah, like why would I ever give
But
up?
it's in you.
Yeah, I was like,
It's in your soul.
why would I ever give up these friends? Because these are the people that have been with me through the entire journey. Like it, do you understand what I'm saying? So I was like, oh,
Dude,
I was like,
it's your life.
I have to get back into music. I have to go back into it no matter what, because this is who I am, and we created for so long that it gave my life it made my life very dark and very depressing and very just like I felt all the time like I'm running out of time, or I'm I'm losing my fucking mind. Like I'm in a continuous loop that I can't break out of. The thing that would help me break out of that loop was kind of like collaborating with those friends again, making music from scratch over again, and trying to do something new, even though it was really hard. And I'm not 100% back yet because I'm really not. I haven't I haven't released something in so long, but I have been collaborating on music again, and it feels good. And I'm like, okay, I'm slowly like climbing the ladder again because I'm like, this is who I am at my heart, at my soul. You know what I mean?
I love that, dude. I feel this through the words you're saying. Like I really do feel this because there's a passion you've always had for this, and it isn't just. I feel like the thing about passion is it's something that's ingrained into us, and it's something that is not just a part of our soul, but like it's something that through the soul goes outward. So you made all those friends through that passion of what you found, and
Yeah.
that passion kind of came out of your soul and into your life, and it created the reality of you having those friends and you collaborating with people and you becoming a DJ and having what was it, the Beat Police back in the day and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, for sure.
And it became it goes through that. But then when you're not listening to your soul and you're not listening to how you're not listening to what's conducive to that and the reality that it's created, then you're at that point you're living someone else's life. As funny as that, or as extreme as that might sound, you're
Yeah.
living someone else's life because it's not the one that you have, it's not the one you've created, and it's not the one that like God has called you to create. Maybe that's a heavy way of putting it,
Could
but
be.
it's there's a reason you're being called to that, you know what I mean? And I love to hear that you had a journey back.
Yeah. Once
um
again, man, a big shout out to a lot of my friends because, and it's crazy because like my family, my mom has supported my music, but like my family has never been like, oh, my family's always been like, get a real job and do this and do that, and it's
yeah,
like, yeah, I support them for that, but they just they don't see it and they don't understand it. I don't have that same bond with my family as I do my music friends because I feel like I actually feel closer to them than I do my own
mm.
family because
Because it's like a it's the family, there's that whole, sure, there's someone it's attributed to, but there's the quote that friends of the family that you choose.
yeah, yeah,
uh
yeah,
and like I said, dude, that idea of like through your soul you found those people, through your passion you found those people. You
yeah,
aren't just born to be around them like you are your family,
exactly,
and that's a big part of it.
exactly, and that's why I was like asking you if you are gonna get back into music because at that moment in that time I was like, dude, fuck music. I don't know if I'm ever gonna go back to that shit. Like I was so heartbroken. Like I lost someone, like I lost something. But like I said, through my friends that I made through music, they kind of just like forced me to get back into it. I'm glad they did because that's truly what makes me happy at the end of the day. You know?
So I'm going to answer your question about my own feelings.
Yeah, yeah,
And without, like I said, without going way too off topic, because I know that I was going to wait for us to veer into this, but it unfortunately is also a part of answering your question.
yeah, yeah. No, it's
So
cool.
I
Go
feel
ahead.
like, so if you don't mind, I have something very long that I
Yeah,
wanted to go through,
let's go through it, dude.
and
I'm gonna whatever it is. I'm gonna clip it up and put it on TikTok. So let's go.
please. Okay. So I'll try not to just read off this because it's based on notes that I kind of was cultivating
Yeah,
in a earlier when I was kind of deep in thought about what we were talking about. And I know the things we were talking about recently before the stream. I was kind of very deep in thought about my own approach to, for example, just becoming a more spiritual person over the past few years, and then what I've learned through the loss
Yeah.
of everything. And so I'm, like I said, I'm going to try not to like read too much off notes, but this is a very long thing that is based in notes. So I'll try to be as
Yeah. Hey,
engaging as possible
one of
with
the
it.
reasons I started streaming too and like having conversations with people is because when we were talking about stuff earlier, like obviously I miss the connection that I had. We have a lot of these like fake connections now through like screens and digital stuff. And I wanted to try to have like real connections with the people that I actually know through streaming and talking, like having conversations with people and building with that again. But there's been so much like real emotion that I miss from back in that time and creating with. So I'm trying to be authentic. I'm really trying to be myself. I'm really trying to push that forward and push positivity forward because everything is so negative online. And so
Oh,
whatever
it's
you,
painful.
yeah, so whatever you got to say, like say it with your whole heart, man, because
Okay.
that's just the way I'm moving now these days. Like,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Okay. So feel free then to cut this up
All
because
right.
it's going to be a bit of a thing. Okay. So this is essentially my testimony. This is my spiritual testimony,
Okay.
but it's going to also have a lot to do. I'm going to bring it back around to what we were just talking about
Okay.
when it comes to music and loss. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So, starting from just the beginning, I was raised in a Protestant Christian home, and I went to a Christian school for a few years. I may or may not have told you a little bit
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that years ago. And unfortunately, from a really early age, I started to notice that a lot of the judgment and lack of morality that I saw in the world was also present in a lot of these people and these religious people
Yeah.
that around me, whether they were my family or people around that. And so I saw a lot of people speaking about the love of God, but they had the same anger and judgment as the world.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and that what it did was it turned me away from the path of God from an early age.
Mm-hmm.
And so then what I realized was and this is going to sound weird because I was saying it back then. This is what I believed. And back then, I mean, as a teenager, but it's something that I feel like I didn't even know what it meant until I got much older, which is that a foundation in oneself is the most important. And confidence, like what we hear is like confidence in our culture, is actually the kind that our culture celebrates.
Yeah, yeah.
It's actually insecurity combined with ambition. It's people who are insecure about themselves. I don't want to name names, but do you remember a certain lead singer
Yeah, yeah.
of Without Warning
Yeah,
that
yeah,
they got
1000.
mad before we would play a show? They'd get mad because like they wanted to be the center of attention, like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
It's ambition and insecurity combined.
They wanted the glory.
Yeah. And so that's like the kind of confidence that I feel like our culture celebrates. But it's self-centeredness as like a cover for your own insecurity, when real confidence comes through a cultivated appreciation for the work that other people make, and it comes from a constant exploration. And that this is probably why teenagers don't actually have real confidence, but it comes from a constant exploration of like art and different philosophies. It doesn't have to be anything too deep, but just different walks of life. And it also comes from an exploration of yourself. So
Yeah.
it only comes with time, but it's something that has to be cultivated, and it's something that I wanted to have when I was younger because I wanted that foundation in myself, but I didn't really understood it. And the early 2000s edgelord era was not exactly a time for confidence. I got a for confidence to be found in kindness. Like
Yeah.
people were just so like everything was so edgy and rebellious, whether people had a need for to or not.
Mm.
Then anybody being kind or caring about any kind of foundation in themselves was considered kind of weird and weak. But I did get a few girlfriends out of it, so I can't like complain too much. I feel like if you're like, this is my like weird secret lesson in life, and I wrote this down. If you're getting clowned on for something that girls like you for, you're on the right track. Um,
Okay.
and so around this time, I started bands, which kind of grew my social circle and opened up my life to both the new spiritual element of collaborating on
Yeah,
music,
yeah.
and also the challenges of dealing with people who had ambition, but lacked any real foundation for appreciating anything, whether it was somebody else's music or whether it was other music they were hearing or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so we met actually during this time and without warning in August 2005. That's the note I had written about that.
Yeah.
Um,
Very good
and
memory, by the way. I was close, but I was a little off. But
I'm
that's great.
I'm cursed. I'm
Yeah.
cursed with it. I remember things that people said to me when I was like 3. It's a curse.
Damn.
Um,
That's crazy. I never heard
so
that.
people, I learned that people reveal their insecurity through their lack of appreciation and their mimicry and their need to be better than you. They hate, but then they only play music, care about art, dress with any drip because of you.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't look like jealousy, but it's the worst kind of jealousy. It's the kind of jealousy where they'll talk shit and then turn around and try to be you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you notice that these people never progress. They never care more about art or more about music. They usually say, "Hey, I'm going to be a rapper," and then they fall off and you never hear from them again.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And their grand plan is, I put that their grand plan was being a white rapper, creating a guitar sample pack, all shade intended to the respective parties.
Damn.
Uh, I got so after that, obviously, we're going on like 6 years after that. I ended
Yeah.
up getting married, and you were my best man.
I was there. I was there, baby. Let's go.
You were there for that, Terrence for the those listening to the stream. Terrence was the best man at my wedding, uh, and I got married. Unfortunately, to someone who sought to use me
Yeah.
and took me away from friends and tried to turn people away from me when I eventually left and we got divorced. So now there's this whole new element after the marriage of where I feel like the world is against me now. It's not just that I feel like I'm trying to work in a way against the grain of the world. Now the world is actually turned against me. And that's kind of how I felt when I came back from Utah and divorced and everything like that. So the friends I fell in with in this time, they were the most pleasure seeking, shallow, pointless human beings I've ever met. And all of them eventually bitched out of the bands that I had formed with them, film projects that we had lined up, and fell to either the lamest, least productive part of the manosphere, or they fizzled completely without me to hold their friend group or band or project together.
Yeah.
Really, at the end of the day, they wanted to collaborate, but then they also wanted to have this like shallow attitude about everything, and that isn't how I operate, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they didn't feel that when they saw that I was genuine, and they saw that they were shallow, and these people just wanted to go out to bars and they wanted to hook up and they wanted to meet people, and that's all they ever wanted anything for. And then any interest in anything quickly fell away. So I say humbly, I say that all humbly because I'm not trying to sound like I was the glue to hold everything together, but it has taken me like my whole life to understand that kind of value, that's like a rare thing. Like people having a genuine interest and wanting to collaborate with people without in good faith is something so incredibly rare. And so in this time, because I'm with my friends that are hedonistic and I just got out of this relationship, this is back when Tinder worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was meeting people, like 2 people every week, and I was falling hard into drugs. And I
Damn.
had a girlfriend. I don't know if you ever met the girl Macy I was dating for like a year.
No.
She was like shooting up, and so
You told
like
me all about
it
her
was
though.
just things were really crazy. And I had this job at a copywriting firm in North Vegas that I actually lost. I actually lost the job the same day, right?
Yeah.
That I got dumped by this model I had met that strung me along like for months. Like this girl treated me like trash and she dumped me and I lost my job on the same day, right? And
You were
so
going through it.
I was going through it. I was going through it, and it was like it wasn't even rock bottom yet. It
Yeah.
wasn't even like rock bottom yet. So like I said, this is a really long thing, and I'm sorry. I will make it through it, but
It's cool. I'm
um,
listening.
so while I'm not sure that this is where I'm going to start getting, I guess, to the more positive side of things, or more introspective side of things, I guess you'd say. Well, I'm not sure that I left God during this time. It was easily the time that I felt most distance from the divine, where it wasn't just like, oh, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. Like I was a kid and I was like, I don't like religious people, but I'm still want to be a good person. This felt like a total muting of God. like where it was like no, I don't even want to know that that exists. Like I just want to live my own life and party and I was and it wasn't a happy partying either. It was like I'm sad and I need to cover it up and I don't want to see the light. Like I just want to be. If I can die, I will. Which brings me to my next note, because in 2017, in March of 2017, so we're talking 9 years ago, I attempted suicide.
I know
And
you did
I'm
that,
not
man.
even
I'm glad
sure.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're still here. But,
Thank you.
continue, man. I'm very
I'm glad.
interesting.
I'm glad I am as well. And while I'm not sure if I ever recovered per se, as much as I entered a completely new life with all of the growing pains and challenges of a new life, because being reborn is not a flash of light. It's a long and painful process. And it involves a second adolescence where you have to figure out everything again. You don't just
Yeah.
get reborn. It's every bit as much painful as it was being born the first time.
Damn.
And
And
so we
we don't
flash,
even realize that because we can't even remember how painful it was.
we can't even remember how painful it all is. And we see ourselves as a present product of everything that we grew up with. And then when you have something like that happen and you have to rebuild from the ground up, you have to rebuild from these friends, from these family members, from yourself. When you
Yeah.
try to eliminate yourself and you have to build from that, it's square one. You're a baby again. You're like
Yeah.
a baby again. And so flash forward to 4 years later, I'm still having major mental problems at this point, but I haven't tried, to take my life again. And I'm working at this vegan restaurant, and I'm working on the first Dreaming with Machines album. And even though I started this in 2007, the project in 2007, I didn't start releasing things until years later.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and around the same time, I start falling into this closer friendship with this girl that I've known for years since high school. And so the job closes down, and my mother actually ends up being admitted to the hospital for schizophrenia, which was upended everything. And I became really distanced from my family. And then at this point, I'm, December 2021, so like 4 or 5 years ago,
Yeah.
I'm jobless. I'm alone with my synthesizers. And I take this person, the girl I become closer friends with, I take her to go see the movie Licorice Pizza. And for those listening, if you're at all familiar with movies or whatever, the director of Licorice Pizza, he just won. Paul Thomas Anderson just won an Oscar for Best Director and Best Picture for One Battle After Another. So same
Okay.
director, but his previous movie. I took the girl to go see it, Licorice Pizza, and this girl sits there and she absolutely fucking roasts me the whole time. She's sitting there. She's sitting there talking shit about me, about like my looks and about my job. Like I'm a broke boy and all this other shit. And I'm like, what in the world? I
Damn.
thought we had a really good repertoire. Like I thought
Yeah.
me and her were close. I thought we were cool. And I just immediately start seeing this person for what they really are, right?
Okay.
So, and she's treating like the service staff like shit and everything like that. And so it becomes emblematic, like that moment of me hanging out with her. And she actually said this line. I was playing pinball. I was playing pinball with her, and we were like taking turns at the machine. And she said, I like hit something, and the ball, really lost or whatever. And she goes, "Oh, that Corey Curless luck." And when she said that, it was like the bands, the family, the drugs, the suicide. It all was like, yeah, that's you. That's what defines you.
Damn. It was like a
And I
pinball
was like,
machine or something?
oh man. And I felt myself slipping again. I felt myself slipping again. And so this brings me to kind of a weird thing, and I'll try to not jump around too much when I explain this, but I've been interested in Dharmic religion since I learned that Krillin on Dragon Ball Z was a Buddhist. And I
You have a great way of bringing this shit back to something like that. I love that.
and
Continue.
I just
I'm listening.
because I feel like
I'm just stepping off camera for a second, but I can hear you and I'm listening.
cool. So I often match the image of Krillin in my head with the Weezer lyric from Across the Sea, where he says, "At 10, I shaved my head and I tried to be a monk." And because I feel like as a child, I had this weird interest in like meditation, and I thought that like there was something super cool about it, even though I didn't even know what it was, and I had never meditated before, and I knew nothing about religion outside of the Baptist church I went to with my family. but I had picked up, for the next few years, I had picked up like Sanskrit mantras from various sources, including it was a Shakti Hindu sect in India that it was emailing with for like
Yeah.
several years, and the guy eventually gave me a mantra. And then there's a
You mailed me some
Vajrayana.
stuff. You actually mailed me
I'm
some.
sorry,
You mailed me some stuff.
dude. Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely.
I remember.
A lot of interesting stuff I could say about that, but there's a Vajrayana Buddhist temple right down the street in Henderson. When I say right down the street, dude, it's like less than a block. It's super close.
Really.
And I went there and
I'm still
actually
listening
got
to you, man. I'm just stepping away for 1 second, but I'm listening to you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I went there and I ended up getting this mantra, the White Tara mantra. And White Tara is to, cleanse yourself and create compassion. And a lot of people have seen her. She's like a chick, kind of in a very interesting pose that's in a lot of Buddhist art. And I also started volunteering at the Hindu temple, the Las Vegas Hindu temple that's up by Red Rock, a few times as well. And I took classes to better understand the faith.
That's so
And so,
interesting.
which is really cosmically beautiful and complex, especially for someone like me who wasn't ever born into that culture. So, after that closure of my job of the vegan restaurant and a
Uh huh.
catastrophic date with the girl,
It
I started
all hit
doing
you.
it all hit me. And I started seeking out something I could do to just as an outlet. And so in early 2022, I started doing yoga to build up strength and flexibility. And I became familiar with like breath work and pranayama and the deeper aspects of yoga besides the asanas, besides just, the shapes and the bending and all that. And as I rebuilt my life, I dived deeper into the Hindu roots of yoga while I was volunteering at that temple, and read the absolute classic. It's one of George Harrison and Steve Jobs' favorite books. It's a autobiography of a yogi, which is by Paramahansa Yogananda. He passed away in the 50s, but he wrote it in the
The way you
40s.
just pronounced that was so perfect.
Oh, he's my guru, man. I gotta pronounce it perfect.
That was crazy.
But yoga in this context is much closer to meditation. Like when I say the word yoga, I'm not talking about like exercise yoga. I mean it's closer to like a mantra meditation type
Okay.
of yoga. Um, than how we view it in the West. It's very close. If anybody is familiar with like Buddhist zazen practice, it's a little bit closer to
It's
something
closer
like
to
that.
something like that.
Yeah. And so, after about a year and a half of corresponding with Yogananda's temple organization, which is called the SRF, I became initiated into the Kriya Yoga style of meditation, and I went deep into the holy books. So over the next few years, which has been the past couple of years, I've read like the Vedas and the Upanishads and the Yoga Sutras and the Bhagavad Gita. I continue with meditation every day. I actually had a wonderful meditation this morning that was really, really amazing. So around this time in 2022, due to the proximity of the church and my strong conviction, I actually returned to the Baptist church that I was baptized at as a child because it's like right down the street.
Full circle
And
moment.
while I didn't fully connect with it, like I felt like I had didn't really connect with the services there. It left me with a lot to think on my walks home. Like it left me with way more to think than what I went in with. And so to jump into this, I'm a lifelong fan of the filmmaker David Lynch, which rest in peace. He died last year.
Yeah.
And he had his own experiences and talks about meditation, but to veer off a little bit into his body of work, he actually played guitar and sang on the indie band Sparkle Horse's final album after the loss of their lead vocalist. And the name of that album was Dark Night of the Soul, which is a reference to the poem Dark Night of the Soul by the Catholic friar St. John of the Cross. So I became obsessed with this poem. I became obsessed with the poem Dark Night of the Soul. Because most religious literature praises God as a transcendental figure. And funny enough, St. John of the Cross was a mystic, especially for his time, and especially for the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
But the poem very much comes from a place of darkness and doubt. It comes from a place of longing for God, not praising God, but like a longing for God. And this reminded me a ton of my own experience and what I had like read about with Yogananda. So at this point, you have two faiths, and they're Catholicism and Hinduism. And these are two things I was not born into and not raised in, but I start to see them leading me back to a place that I had put a pin in as a teenager. So
Yeah.
I said as a teenager, I left that religious path.
Yeah.
I had become offended by those people, but I see myself actually start to kind of be moved and realigned with this path. as I'm starting to see this, after I become obsessed with this poem. So last time I saw you was in 2024 when we went to go see Vampire Weekend.
Yeah.
And I went on a whole tangent about Christ embodying the perfection of spiritual wisdom when we were hanging out in your garage, just because that was like the tangent I was on. That was like the wave I was on.
Yeah, yeah.
And bringing this to the present,
That was a
earlier
good
this
show, by
month,
the way.
that was an amazing show, by the way. It was like one of the best. Again,
The
like
country
all the
song is
concerts I've
so
been to.
crazy.
It was insane. And what's funny is on the album, that song originally is very short and it's like closer to like a ska sounding song. And then they like made it country
In
live. That was
Texas.
so cool. That
Yeah.
was so cool. So you actually already you already touched on this briefly, but bringing this to the present, earlier this month, due to technical complications and distribution issues, I lost my entire music catalog and ended my Dreaming with Machines project, which I started in 2007. And even though I didn't release anything until a decade later, I started that in high school as a reaction against the punk bands that I was drumming in for years. When I would just play on my dad's keyboard and I would make like ambient music, and I was like, I'm much more interested in doing something like this. And I was listening to a lot of Pink Floyd and everything. And between relationships, friendships lost, losing my music, losing my faith, losing my love for life and regaining it on this path that I had been reset on, now it had a personal element. And it wasn't just going through the motions of a religion or therapy to save me. I realized that life and meditation and God were trying to teach me something beyond the pain of lack of connection and lack of ambition. Something beyond religion, something beyond art, and even beyond that foundation of kindness that I had valued so much when I was younger. I realized that my relationship with God is not one of ambition, it's one of letting go. It's one of shedding all the obstacles that are covering the light. I realized that God isn't going to make it easy for me, because I wasn't meant to settle for a punk band, for a girl I met at a bar, for a family that was supposed to love me conventionally, for friends who don't care. I'm not allowed to settle for a simple fix of meditation or a mantra practice or a synth project that expresses my search for meaning. Perhaps the hardest thing to wrestle with is my expectation, because then I find myself asking, what does God want for me? And in truth, this is the final boss, because I'm still desiring a clear path that God is going to keep telling me
Yeah.
he's not going to give me. So it's the final letting go, is that expectation that I'm going to have more, that God's leading me to do something. I just have to trust.
Yeah.
Because
That's crazy, actually, what you just said right there. That's actually insane what you just said right there. You had to yeah, that's insane what you just said.
And so I am far from a perfect person. And this is almost done. This is like almost wrapping up.
It's all
I'm
good,
far
man.
from a perfect person, and I think it's been the ultimate blessing to understand that, because if there is always more room to move up, like if I know I'm imperfect, I always know that there's something else to be worked on, and there's never an end to it. And the dark veil of the world, and the way that whether we're talking about politics or the homogenization of art and music, it's that dark veil is always going to tell us that moving upwards is into that unknown, into something that's better for you, is frightening. Don't do it. It's scary. It's always going to tell you that. And it's always going to offer a billion fixes before you have to look past it into what is actually not darkness, but a blinding light coming to you on the path. You have to find the light, even if it takes turning every corner and dying a million deaths along the way. You have to believe in the path in front of you, even through the pain of watching all of your friends and the world around you and what you thought was your identity fall away. So I'll end this rant before answering your question. I'll end this rant with two quotes that I feel is diametrically opposed to each other, but perfectly embody the spiritual path. And the first one is from Tupac Shakur.
West Side.
It's very simple. It's very simple. And it ain't easy.
It ain't easy.
It ain't easy.
I'm gonna have to light up to that one. It ain't easy. From going from almost to killing yourself, and I'm so glad you're here. Like I'm so thankful that you didn't actually it didn't actually go through. Like from going from that to Tupac, It Ain't Easy is the craziest rant I've ever heard in my life. That's the
But
craziest rant I've ever. Okay,
but
continue, continue.
I have to cap it off with one more quote.
Okay.
I have to cap it off with one more quote
Yeah.
because Tupac says it ain't easy.
Yeah.
But Romans 8:31 says that if God is for us, who can be against us?
Who can be against us? Who?
And
I fucking.
that's honestly how I see it. That's how I see the path. So to answer your question, how do I feel about music?
Yeah.
Well, I know there's a future. I know there's a future. I don't know what God has
You don't know what it
set.
is. You just have to trust that it's there.
I have to trust that it's there. And at the moment, I have a few different options for what that could be. I have a few songs I've been writing on the acoustic lately that I actually performed last year at a few different events. I have a few acoustic songs.
I'm listening.
I have an ambient project that I was going to essentially start that was going to be like a reaction to Without Warning. That was going to be almost not Without Warning, Dreaming with Machines. That was going to be almost like a counter to it, but it was also going to still have like an ambient vibe. That was going to be called Second Diamond Remnant. And so maybe one of these days I will step into that second diamond remnant. But for now, I follow the light.
C3 Corey, I love you, man.
I love you too.
You are such a great speaker, and
Thank you.
I know the stuff that you say, you mean it from the heart, because I mean you went through hell and back. What do you like? What do you have to show for it other than your faith, other than what you believe, other than what keeps you going? So man, I really appreciate you saying all that to me, man. And
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to say it.
I never
Thank you.
would have had the musical journey that I had if it wasn't for the family that you make along the way of making music. So it's so important that you felt like quitting. I hope I could be a little bit of an inspiration to you to keep
You
pushing
always are.
and keep going with music, because it's
You
truly
always are.
thanks, dude. It truly is the only thing that's gonna really make us happy as creatives, creating more, even
Of course.
going against the grain. You know what I mean? People don't
Of course.
people don't have that like feeling towards art and music like that we have. It's for a reason, you know what I mean? When you were saying earlier about people like, oh, you were guys in bands but everybody was fucking off, like me and you, when we were in bands playing together, like we took that shit serious because like it was our fucking lifeblood,
And
you know what I mean?
we cared, and that need to create, like you just said, in the lifeblood, it pulses in you. That need to create pulses in you, and you do it not because you want attention for it, and you do it not because you like the sound of it, because you're going to create a lot of music you don't like, but before you create a lot of music you do. So it's not even that; it's the fact that you feel this drive to create. That alone is the path. That alone is like it's the fuel that drives you on the path, I should say.
It's 1000% the drive. I felt just as low as you when my stuff got stolen, and I still get sad
I'm
about
so
it,
sorry about that.
but from what you said really inspired me, man, because I never got to the point where you were saying like you tried to take your own life and stuff. And like once again, I'm so happy that you're here with us, because
I'm so thankful to be here. I'm grateful to be
there's
here.
so many. We were talking earlier about some of the best songs that I've heard are people on SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube that I've heard a song that has less than 1,000 plays. You and me, we are also one of those people. Somebody maybe
We
has
are.
heard our music before and said like, this song is so good. It's so good. I can't believe it only has 100 plays. You know what I mean?
It's the strangers. It's the strangers that make it. It really is the people who just discover you from across the country, across the world, and they're one of, like you said, 75 plays or 100 plays that you get, and
And
you're
like
like, wow, this person.
I've seen that and like felt that, and I'm like, I love this song. I know every word to this song. I listen to it every single day. Out of these 700 plays, I'm probably 89 of them. Like, and then like I'll hear like a Drake song, and I like it's just gray. You know what I mean? It's the
It
music.
passes. It
It's just
passes like
gray. Like
nothing.
everything is just gray. I hear a J Cole song, listen to the whole album, and everything is just gray. And I don't know if
Mhm.
that's like the right term or the right analogy, but that's like the
No,
that's what I see.
I
You know what I mean?
completely agree. It's gray. There's no color to it. There's no texture to it. It is a gray blank slate, and it's like has the same energy as like dry wind, where it's meant to blow by you.
It's amazing. That's amazing. Hey man, we've been streaming for a minute, and I fucking love talking to you. I want to do a stream with you once every 2 weeks. I got
Okay.
if you're in here, hit the follow button. We have another big stream coming up tomorrow, and then I think on for sure Saturday morning. I'm trying to do a lot of positive stuff, but I definitely want to talk about music a lot with you in streams, culture, film, art. I want to talk with you about that, and
I'm down.
let's do it, man. Let's do it. This is the first
Let's
of
do it.
many. This is the first of
Let's
many.
do it.
Maybe we'll come up with a name for our mine and your specific streams. But
Mhm.
I want to plug you one more time. This is Corey Christopher Curless, one of my best friends, great drummer, aka Dreaming with Machines. And I know one of these days you're gonna get your novel out. I got his name right here, C3 versus the 21st Century on Instagram. We're gonna collaborate more on music. We're gonna be bringing you hot takes all the time
Okay.
and deep talks because this is good for me, man. It's good for my soul to just rekindle with you and talk with you about stuff. And that was so amazing. And the way you brought it from all there back to the music of with the unknown artists, the strangers. That's like the music that really matters right now.
It is absolutely. That's what's gonna bring Death to Passion. That's what's gonna do it.
It's, hey man, I'm gonna log off right now, but Corey, I love you,
Absolutely.
man. Let's talk again
Love
in
you
two
too,
weeks.
man.
I'm gonna clip this up and send you a bunch of TikTok clips.
Please,
Hell yeah.
please.
Hey, dude, God bless you. What you were just saying right there inspired me to get out and create more music. For real.
Absolutely, man.
All right, man. Take care. Much love,
Good
Corey.
night.
Peace out.